Thanks for doing this, guys.
What's the job?
That was it. Bye.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them. Julia Roberts carries us forth. I am your host, Patrick Scale, and of course on the line is Bean Burrito Joe.
Beans! Burritos.
Yes, and on the audio boards is Leven Rensselaer, reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. Joe, what movie are we doing this week?
Ocean's 12.
So the 12th movie in the Ocean series, Joe?
Yes, we've had 12 coming
cranking
up.
them out.
Yeah. So to bring in between all of his Oscars, he's made 12 Ocean's movies.
Ocean's 12, the sequels to 2001's Ocean's 11. Joe, what happens in this movie?
Daniel Ocean, that's George Clooney, don't forget, recruits one more team member so he can pull off 3 major European heists and the sequel to Ocean's 11, brackets 2001.
Yes, Joe, I said that part.
A lot of people didn't like this at the time, but then it's been having some reclamation, and I liked it when I saw it in the theater alone with a giant crowd. But I was 14, and I was like, oh, my first movie alone, and this was one of them.
Sadly, my first movie alone was Phantom of the Opera, I think.
Hey, 2004!
Also 2004. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Where'd you see it?
Regal,
me too.
Bellingham.
That was mine too.
They had all wanted to go see Meet the Fockers or Little Fockers, whichever one was coming
Meet the
out
Fockers,
that time.
yeah.
And I said, no, thank you. I will find something else in the same time window. And this was kind of it. Phantom of the Opera was all that was there.
Yeah. Did I already tell you my story about when I saw Meet the Fockers?
I don't think so.
Well, I did a double feature. First
and iRobot, Meet the Fockers. And
no,
iRobot.
I saw The Aviator, the 3-hour Martin Scorsese.
You said, how do I spend as much time in the theater today as I can?
I was 14. You know what? This is on New Year's Eve. I spent New Year's Eve seeing The Aviator and Meet the Fockers. Wow. It's so lonely, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we would start hanging out. Did we see? I know we talked about this last time, but did we see $1 Million Baby in the theater together?
We did. Yep, me, you,
yeah,
and Jan Chichio.
Yeah, Chicho.
You said most people didn't like this movie. How did you feel about it?
I loved it. This was great. You didn't like it, did you?
No. Listen,
we were on such a streak too.
I know, and I'll get into what Soderbergh does here, and I really, really like basically everything he's bringing and what the cast is bringing. I do not like this script. I think this is a bad, busy script.
It's very busy.
Too much is happening. The characters are assuming way more than they should. I think they're expecting us. I can barely follow along. It feels like half the people don't even need to be there.
Half the people don't even feel like they know that they're in a movie.
Why is Bernie Mac in 5 seconds of this movie? Did he not want to hang out with everybody?
I don't know. But he's definitely in the next one, so I don't know why.
Yeah, him more than the others felt like he couldn't be on set with them at a given time. Was he doing Mr. 3000 or something?
He was, but he was also doing his TV show, The Bernie Mac Show.
Yeah. They even make a point of not having him in the big group room, but they oh, he's in the bathroom.
Oh, you know what else he was filming at this time?
What?
Head of State, the Chris Rock Runs for President movie.
Yeah.
Another movie I saw in 2004.
Where he's the roof is on fire, and all the old people are the roof is on fire.
That is definitely a joke in the trailer that got me into the theater.
Jesus, Joe, you're so easy.
I love my trash. Leave me alone. It's 14.
Every 20 minutes, a new villain is introduced, and I'm like, can we stick with one, please?
I'm not trying to be a little downer on Julia, but it definitely when when her part comes back up, she's in the first 3 minutes of the movie or whatever, and then she disappears for another hour and a half.
Yeah,
and
then
she comes
she's
right
not
in.
necessary.
Yeah,
and an old guy's I'm out, guys.
Yeah,
and then suddenly for no reason he feels guilty, and then boom, he pops back, but then it doesn't help anyway. So
yeah, it is very busy and messy, and like I was saying,
like you're saying, there's instead of like one huge heist, we got a million tiny ones. That feels less effective. I'm having a hard time figuring out how they're doing things. This Night Fox dude comes out of nowhere. I don't care about, and like this pissing contest of like who the best thief is. Like Danny Ocean doesn't even care. He's like, all right, whatever, dude. I've just got to make sure I'm not dead. And the other guy's like, well, I'm so hurt that my mentor said you were better that I'm going to make sure that you die. And we're like, whoa, dude.
And Vincent Cassel is just doing like yoga poses.
I guess that pays off when we see that he just like dances over the security system, but it's randomized and also extremely impossible to do that. So like that feels like a cheat.
I still like the movie a lot. Not as much as the first one, but I still liked it a lot. Or maybe I did like it a little more. I don't know. I just was vibing with it. It was good. I really liked when we meet back up with Topher Grace.
Yeah, that was fun. So they've completed their trilogy at long last, the Before trilogy.
He comes into the movie and he's just like, I quit the show and I phoned in that Dennis Quaid movie. And I'm like, I saw how you phoned in that Dennis Quaid movie. That was bad.
At least he acknowledges it.
He's got like long hair. That's great.
It was a funny joke. I thought that worked. But what I didn't like in the script is that basically the whole second half of the movie wasn't real. It was all a big charade.
Yeah.
For us and for random French dude.
So let's just dive into this part because it's our Julia podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts plays a woman that looks like Julia Roberts. How do we feel about this, Joe?
I was fine with the knowledge of like this joke being in the movie, and then when I watched it, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. And then when she's on the phone with herself, she was talking to herself on the phone. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
And Bruce Willis recognizes her as Julia Roberts from the like, hey, remember when we were in The Player together? Yeah,
but Bruce Willis is for like the 5 seconds they were in The Player. You remember when that fake movie, but now we're in this real movie, but it's Bruce Willis was probably, it feels like they just saw him at a hotel and they're like, oh my God, it's Bruce Willis. Bruce over here. Yeah. Hey, you want to do
Bruce, wouldn't it be really funny?
Yeah.
If
can you do an hour with us? If we can pay you, I guess your quote is still $1 million. Fine, whatever. I didn't like that part. That's where it really fell apart for me. And it was like, I was really enjoying it.
I'm having a tough time grappling with it. Because on the one hand, I like the meta-ness of it.
Yes.
And Steven Soderbergh's doing so many fuck you moments already in here.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, is this just like one step too far? Have I found my limit? Because at the same time, they cut to the guy on the like, who am I supposed to be? And then they cut to the concierge on the phone. He's like, hey, Julia Roberts is coming. And I go, what?
Yeah.
And now, I don't know. There is an element of like not being in it. Even though I'm there being like, okay, so Brad Pitt's got a love interest this time, and George Clooney doesn't seem to be as big of a mainstay, and Matt Damon now has to lead the crew. That's kind of interesting. So I'm using their names in my head. They're not their characters in my mind.
Yes.
And yet, Julia Roberts being called Julia Roberts just feels, it feels odd. I saw this movie 4 days ago, and I'm still mulling over if this annoys me or not. I can't tell.
Yesterday. The budget on this movie, if you can believe it. If you can believe Soderbergh fucking swindled the studios to get $110 million for this movie.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
I think it's crazy that he got away with this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ocean's 11 was so big.
Yeah, and you know what?
And he won an Oscar, and he got nominated for an Oscar.
It paid off! $362 million. Audiences were like, let's show up.
Yeah, let's do more of this, please.
Yeah, except for I'm going to look it up because we're not going to cover it anyways. I wonder what the sequel did. Oh my God, that's insane.
All right, so what's the budget of the sequel?
The sequel is less. It's $85 million.
Okay. And then?
Also, it comes out in the summer and not a winter release. This is a winter release. This comes out like a week after or closer.
Oh, wow. Julia Roberts was busy.
The third Ocean's movie, Ocean's 13, comes out in June of 2007. Budgeted at $85 million. Same running time. Box office, $311 million.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
And then they're like, 3's good. Why try again?
Well, I don't know. Is the story over after? It seems like this Andy Garcia thing maybe lingers on a little bit more.
Yeah, he's back. I see him on the poster.
Yeah, so they could, maybe it's like they do a heist and that like puts Andy Garcia in jail and then they're kind of safe from everybody. It looks like French guy's coming back too as he shows up in the back of the money guy's house and we do this like zoom in.
Listed on the main cast. But the big name I remember from the trailer for the third one is, French guy's not in it. Oh, yes, he is. I see him right here.
I mean, they set him up to be in it. It'd be weird if he were not.
The big name for the next one, though, is Al Pacino.
Oh, my God.
Love me some Al.
Dunkachino.
Oh.
So Brad Pitt gets a love interest this time because Danny
Catherine Zeta-Jones
is already set. Yes, Catherine Zeta-Jones returns to Julia Roberts' town. Do you think in like the 2 scenes they had together, they were like, hey, remember when we did that America's Sweetheart movie? That wasn't that good, was it? And they were like, this is fine.
It was fine. America saw it.
But yeah, like that romance too was a very rushed part. Yeah, if your cast has like 18 people, you probably should slow some things down. You maybe shouldn't jam also a million plot events into your script as well, please.
Bernie Mac is billed above Julia Roberts. Can you believe that?
No. No, I do not. Bernie Mac was on set with everybody else like 2 times.
Can I tell you, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 Oscar winners in the building. It's fucking insane. Plus Soderbergh, 8. That's crazy.
Well, you know what does charm me about the Julia Roberts shenanigans in this movie is her name in the credits.
Oh, yeah, and introducing?
Tess as Julia Roberts.
Yeah,
that was pretty amusing.
That's a good joke.
I like that Hollywood let him do, and the union and SAG let him do that. That was a nice touch. I'm glad that at one time these organizations had a sense of humor.
At one time.
At one time. I don't think you could do that now.
You know who didn't have a sense of humor?
Who?
The critics. The critics hated this movie.
I want to know what Roger Ebert thinks about the Julia thing.
Roger, Roger, Roger. Roger, 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 Roger. R-O-G-E-R.
Roger Ebert gave a positive review.
Oh, okay.
3 out of 4 stars and applauded its cleverness. The movie takes inventory of its characters with the same droll wit that it does with everything else. The movie is all about behavior, dialogue, star power, and wise-ass in-jokes. I really sort of liked it. Wow. Wow.
That's what it takes to get 3 stars? Really sort of like it?
Sort of, wow. He always has to put a little gravy.
That's a great button there. I don't know if it's about all that, Roger. It's got a little bit of that. I wish it had more time to be about that. That would have been nice.
Yeah. Steven Soderbergh has stated that it is his favorite of the then 3 Ocean's films. I believe it. He's having a lot of fucking fun with this one.
Let's go into the negative critics.
Ooh. Oh, you want to hear some negative?
Yeah.
Film was criticized for its slow start.
I don't think it's slow at all. I thought the beginning was the best part of the movie, quite frankly.
Me too. I loved it.
The beginning was great. And it was like such efficient cinematography directing where you just have like most of these Andy Garcia meets 11 different people happen in one take. It's awesome. And it's very inventive too. God, go on, Joe.
So that's a weird critique.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like an idiot.
It's complex plot and a final twist that negated much of the preceding action.
True. All true.
The Washington Post, Stephen Hunter, said that it all ends on one of those infuriatingly sloppy notes where having dramatized narrative events WXYZ for us, which we have taken on good faith, it suddenly and arbitrarily delivers narrative events STUV, which completely invalidate events WXYZ. Dude, fuck you and your stupid review.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't the best way to phrase it, but I 100% agree. Like, this is the problem that a lot of heist movies have, is to get this final twist on us. They're like, hey, the previous 90 minutes was all a con. And you're like, well, then why did I fucking watch this movie? It's really no different than like, it was all a dream. It's the same kind of stupid shit, you know? Yeah. I think back to Community. And Dan Harmon was always afraid of doing stuff like this, but he had that one Halloween episode where they all tell a story. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, refresh me.
Britta is in a psychology class, and she has everybody fill out a form, and somebody fills out a form where, in a way where she thinks they're like a psychopath, and they have to tell stories to figure out who it is. Why he defended that, and why I think I could get behind it, is that it's not about the events are being made up. Like, the stories that each character is telling is giving you an idea of, like, their psychology and their personality. So it's still informing. But in these heist movies and in these dreams, everybody's kind of playing a part. Mm-hmm. We're not really getting Matt Damon taking a leadership role when everything goes south and, like, trying to improvise a plan. We're getting Matt Damon following a plan set up by two other people that were already in charge all the way. So, like, the narrative arcs we're getting here that we're like, aha, are all trash.
Yeah, it's fake.
But that's the issue. So that's this is a problem with heist movies and extremely improbable cons.
Yeah,
where they're
like
building
the Now
a
You
whole
See Me movies.
goddamn hospital.
In that Halloween episode of Community, there's a great joke where I believe someone is reading a book by the author War and Peace.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Newsweek said, while it looks like the cast is having a blast and a half, the studied hipness can get so pleased with itself it borders on the smug, which is a big complaint I remember at the time, where people were like, it looks like the cast is having way more fun than we're actually having watching it.
Part of that feels like an attack on the directing, which I don't agree with. And I bet that's part of what people are liking now is the kookiness of what he's doing. And it's just Hollywood kind of catching up to his more international style. And he did some of these in the previous movie, but what's really working out, like, he's got shots that are sideways, like we're just on the wrong axis. He freeze frames at random time. He bleaches some images. Yep. He has jump cuts. He has, like, wacky kind of a musical score that you wouldn't normally get in these kinds of movies. His transitions are still kind of crazy and whatever he feels like whenever. There's no rhyme or reason. There's broken chronology. There's zooms. There's just, like, a lot of fun, black and white at times. Like, there's just fun he's having. His camera work's doing whatever he wants it to. Like, he's just, I don't know, he's just giving the middle finger to Hollywood. Hollywood's looking at these dailies, and they're like, well, it's going to make a lot of money, I guess.
Yeah.
But I could see if you're going to normal blockbusters and you're expecting a certain type of movie and you're getting this less refined or more intentional editing, that you would be kind of thrown off, and you're like, why are we looking at this plane the wrong way? Mm-hmm. Why do I have to see Amsterdam be spelled out to know where I am? I think that's a great way to bring us to another country than just like, oh, the Empire State Building. Guess we're in New York.
Yeah.
We get like 8 different shots of random parts of Amsterdam, and we get to like follow along with it. I think that's a smarter play.
That was fun. Couple things. So did you mention in the editing part, like, where you'd be like in a scene, it would just kind of skip like 3 seconds forward, skip like, and then it would just, you see that like so you would see like someone like closing a door, but you wouldn't see them closing the door all the way, and then they'd be picking up a mug, and then the next cut would be them like drinking the mug without them like putting the mug to their mouth. Yeah,
like that's a very French New Wave kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I think
like
those
that.
are fine and fun, and it didn't bother me when I saw it in there. I'm not sure why it would anger you. The movie's already like over 2 hours. Let's just go.
Yeah. So this is funny because it says Ocean's 12. You're gonna love this. Was rated by Entertainment Weekly at the time as one of the 25 worst sequels ever made.
That feels strong, I think, though.
Number 16 in 2008. And I'm like, well, for all the sequels that were coming up, they should have held off on that.
You just wait, Hollywood.
You should be appreciating this fucking movie.
Yeah, so that's a good point I want to bring up. Right? We were talking about Soderbergh making a million movies. But, like, what's the last big movie, like, America knew that he made?
Well, it wasn't that movie where the clairvoyant was stuck in the hospital.
Unsane?
Unsane.
Shot on the iPhone?
Yeah, that movie made no money.
Yes.
He was very upset about it because he was like, he had this quote in an article where he was just like, by Friday afternoon, you know if the movie's going to be making money or not, and if not, then just put it out on streaming. I don't care. Like, why, like, if it's not going to be making money, like, that weekend, then fuck it.
I saw it in theater. But
Me too.
I didn't know about it. Like, I'm like, oh, a little horror movie. Let's see if this one's any good. And then you said, this is Steve Soderbergh. And then you're like, what? And then, like, it's clearly shot on an iPhone. You're like, what?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I didn't mind it. I just don't think anyone had ever heard of it.
So, yeah, that kind of his last, like, theatrical movie because it was Side Effects in 2013. Then he takes his, like, retirement and he goes to make the Nick
TV show
on Cinemax, which is fantastic.
Yeah, but does anyone like know Side Effects? Like, has anyone heard of that movie?
I saw it.
If I'm like, oh, hey, do you guys remember Side Effects? People would be like, what? But if I went, hey, Ocean's 13, they'd be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Ocean's 13 like the last memorable movie?
No, no, absolutely not. Because after that, he had The Informant, which did okay.
Yeah.
That's Matt Damon. Contagion, which was pretty big last year.
True.
Had a big revival. He did Haywire, which wasn't too big, but it was still like notable. Then in 2012, he had Magic Mike, which was enormous.
Magic Mike. Well, I saw like that's what's weird though is like between Magic Mike and now, he's made probably like 10 movies and 2 TV shows.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, 10 movies. And so when you talk about like great American directors, I just don't think his name's coming up, which I think is a shame.
Really fucked up that's not
I think
happening.
as Americans, we don't appreciate Steven Soderbergh enough compared to, who's the Iron Man guy?
Jon Favreau?
I bet, yeah, they're like Jon Favreau, Russo brothers. I think those guys are at the top of people's lists more than Steve Soderbergh, and that's insane. Because even just watching this movie, which I don't think is a great script, he directs the pants off of this thing.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So HBO Max has him for one more movie, and it's coming out next year. It is called Magic Mike's Last Dance. And I rooted and hollered, and I'm like, hell fucking yeah. And Channing Tatum put out a little tweet where he was just like, had his gym bag, and he was all excited. Get back.
So Soderbergh didn't do the XXL one?
No, he let one of his cinematographers direct that, I believe.
Oh, so sometimes he does still have cinematographers.
Yeah, and what he did for that movie was he was the cinematographer on it.
You're a wild man.
I believe that's what
Soderbergh.
happened. Let me double check. Yeah, Gregory Jacobs, one of his producers and collaborators. And then he did the cinematography. And he also edited that movie.
Like America, we have, on the indie scene, we have the Safdie brothers.
Hold on. Do you...
Yeah.
Okay. So, the budget for Magic Mike. Can you want to guess the budget? Do you remember what that movie looked like? It looked pretty good.
I don't remember, but I don't know. I would say $40 million.
7.
7 million?
$7 million.
That's crazy.
Do you know how much that movie made?
$220 million.
Oh, that's nice. It made 167. Still,
that's still
extremely profitable.
That's like Steven Soderbergh magic there. Yeah. You know who would have been great in Magic Mike?
Who?
Chris Farley.
Oh, come on. You're making me sad now.
I know. Bring back his Chippendales routine.
And Patrick Swayze. We lost both of them.
It's a cursed sketch. I guess Kevin Nealon's alive for now.
Yeah.
Go on,
They
Joe.
doubled the budget in the sequel. Got 14
14.
million.
Oh, that was very nice of them.
Yeah. And then it made 122.
I mean, I guess you're not bringing back the same director, so you're not going to go crazy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Is Channing Tatum in the movie still?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be he's in all 3.
He's in all 3.
I think the only one that didn't come back was Matthew McConaughey. And I think they killed him off in the sequel.
Ooh, ouch.
Well, he was off doing Interstellar or something.
You don't want to save him for your third one?
And all this reconnaissance, and then it just vanished as soon as he won his Oscar. Where did he go?
His fun. Well, now he's selling Lincolns.
Yeah,
that's his thing.
He's outside of the Kendall Theater or something, like doing an ad over there. Yeah,
okay. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so as for American directors, you have the Safdie brothers, and David Lowery kind of straddles Hollywood, but like Steven Soderbergh has hit the blockbuster. He just can do both, and apparently TV. Like he can't be stopped.
Yeah.
So like it's just crazy that he's got all this skill and craft and still cares about like the cinematic grammar and is trying out new things and is willing to experiment and has this Hollywood success, and we just don't really know him that well as a nation. So
That's
a nation
really
of
sad.
moviegoers, we don't appreciate him as we could have.
Well, it feels like he really hasn't been relevant in the Oscar discussion since Traffic and Aaron Brockovich.
No, it's unfortunate.
It's
He's
really
made some
fucked
good
up.
movies since then.
And we just need to appreciate him and not take him for granted.
Like I just don't know how many directors can go from Ocean's 11 to Full Frontal to Aaron Brockovich. Like it's just such a and then the Nick. It's just such a wild, diverse portfolio that he has, and like all those movies are good.
Yes, I know.
They're not only are they wildly different, they're also good.
Can I tell you what I started watching last night?
What?
I started watching Solaris, and I know you don't like it.
Oh, his version?
His version. Why don't you like it? I was really digging it.
It's too sentimental.
Okay.
It's aggressive. And like I get why, if you're making it for America, that's the approach you take.
Yeah.
I don't need this schmaltzy love story between Clooney and his dead wife. That's not what I came to Solaris for. Oh no, Joe, I'm sorry.
I don't care.
Yeah, I guess in the Russian version, they like put that out there right away. So when she comes back, you're like, uh-oh. And like now you're on, but like you want her to know she's dead because they want you to care about her anyway. Like it's about being human and about our place in the universe and like how difficult it is to communicate with her when she was alive, her when she was dead, him with the other people on the space station, and also the sentient planet.
Yeah.
Like that's what it does well.
Yeah. I got about 25 minutes in, and then I was already really tired. I was watching on my break, and I was like falling asleep. So I was like, oh, this is like lulling me to sleep. It was so nice. And so I was going to go back to it. But before I finish it, should I go and watch the...
No, we'll finish this one first, and then you can go do the other one. Like if I was my age when this Solaris came out and Steve Soderbergh was doing it, I'd be like, oh, might have a chance. I would have been disappointed, but I would have gone and saw it, and I would have been like, well, if it's going to survive with any American director, that's a good choice.
It's like over a full hour shorter, though.
Yes. Tarkovsky has a style.
Yeah.
Soderbergh's advantage is he doesn't quite. Like, he can kind of fit himself anywhere. He just kind of like fucks around when he can fit it in.
He made a 4.5 hour Che movie. You ever see that?
No, I haven't seen
it.
That. It's tough. I had a hard time getting to The Irishman, let alone a 4.5 non-Hungarian film. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. I just thought it was really funny that it sounded like when they were telling Julia Roberts that she needs to act like Julia Roberts, that they kind of just went through her Wikipedia like we did. Like, your middle name's Fiona.
Yeah. Your accent's all wrong. That's not what she sounds like. Yes, sadly, despite having two megastars, Julia Roberts and Catherine Zeta-Jones, the movie fails the Bechdel test. Surprise, surprise. Well, because they said, we didn't have enough female people last time. What if we had one extra female person?
One more.
Ooh, yes. And what if she were also someone's love interest? Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
And what if she wantonly changed her allegiances suddenly? Ooh, yes.
Strange.
Yeah, you know why I think I don't like this script? Because in my mind, it's like, what if Steven Soderbergh directed Red Notice? Like, that's what I feel like we got here.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. How could you say that?
I know. That's how much I disrespect this script.
Wow.
Disrespect it. And it seems odd that we open up with Brad Pitt being a thief, internationally wanted, when, like, he wasn't. His thing was, like, he was a card shark. Like, that was his whole routine. And now I guess he's like still doing the stealing thing. But then he got into hotels, so good for him.
But you know what's great? Pitt shaved his head for this.
He did.
He looks great. He always looks good.
Andy Garcia took me a while to realize it was still him. He didn't look quite the same, and he had a cane now for fun, I think.
He kept putting it on people's like bodies.
Yeah, like he was like, "Can I have a prop to play with, Steve?
Yeah, give me something."
Yeah, do whatever you want. All right, because I want to show up menacingly. I don't know how he took him so long to find them. Like, a lot of these people didn't feel like they were hiding very well.
Yeah. They were like, how much money do you have left? And I'm like, like saying how they have no money left over like 3 years. I'm like, how do you spend all that fucking money?
Yeah, one guy was able to wisely invest his money and everybody else really bad with it.
Yeah, that's really funny.
The Casey Affleck, Scott Caan intro, like it looks like it's setting up a conflict between them where like Casey Affleck like thanks 12 people at this long dinner table, but doesn't thank it. He's like, and the rest when looking at Scott Caan. And he's like all kind of annoyed. And you're wondering like, is that setting up some like bad tension here? And like, are they going to have a fight some way through? And then then Andy Garcia just shows up and then we go to the next scene. I would have liked more time with the minor characters, or like it looked like Matt Damon was going to come into his own. And not only did you not give that enough time, it also was a ruse. So Rogers, he's like, it was good physicality, character work. And I'm like, no, actually, I wanted more of that. In fact, I don't want this Night Fox thing. I'm annoyed by it. And even like Soderbergh's camera style here is like more verite and floating than in the first one. Like he just really did like, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. And Hollywood's like, yeah, all right. It doesn't look quite the same as the first one, but it's been 3 years. Who cares? We don't have streaming yet. Nobody cares.
How many movies has he made? The downtime of this movie? Let's see. I just want to do a quick check. So in between Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12, he does Full Frontal and Solaris. He does those movies in the same year.
Well, for Funter, he doesn't like 10 days or something, so like fine.
Yeah.
But Solaris, that's sort of a bigger deal project.
20th Century Fox, yeah.
Yeah. He probably had like a real movie schedule for that.
Do you know how he follows this up, though?
No.
Because he does 2 more movies in between Ocean's 13.
Okay, what are
So
they?
he does Bubble.
Oh, I love Bubble, yep.
I've never seen it.
Great.
I'll watch it. And The Good German, a movie I've seen.
Oh, yes. That German was pretty good. Pretty good German he was.
Yeah.
Not like that Goebbels. That was a bad German.
Can you give me the 3 top billed actors in The Good German?
Is it Matt Damon?
No.
George Clooney?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. It's one of those 2.
Yeah,
and then that's it. That's what I can do.
Oh, really? I forgot the female lead, but I always remember the kind of the main lead because George Clooney isn't really the main lead in that, I don't think.
Yeah.
So you got Cate Blanchett.
Okay, yep.
In between his Spider-Man movies, you got Tobey Maguire.
Oh, really? I don't remember him in there at all.
He's got the weirdest... You know what? He could totally be our next. What the hell happened to that?
I know, right? Because, yeah, he's got this, Spider-Man, Cider House Rules.
Yeah, Seabiscuit.
Pleasantville.
Cats and Dogs.
He's got cats and... Oh, good Lord,
He's
that's
in The
right.
Boss Baby? I had no idea. Maybe you're no one. Oh, my God.
What?
You know what? He narrated The Boss Baby.
Why? Why do you get him to narrate? Just get any person to narrate it.
It makes no sense when you have Alec Baldwin as the Boss Baby.
Yeah, even better. Just don't have a narrator. You probably don't need it.
Did you ever see the movie that I saw for some reason called Pawn Sacrifice?
I did see that movie, yep.
That was fine.
Fine is a very good word for it.
Yes.
Where he's Bobby Fischer, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Bobby Fischer, right?
Old Bobby Fischer trying his best to make a comeback. Not as exciting as when you see it in a sports movie. But,
yeah, just like Tobey Maguire. Old Tobey Maguire trying to make a comeback.
Yeah. It's the chess version of Mr. 3000.
Do you remember Brothers? The movie he did with Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman, where Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal were brothers. And
not Tobey Maguire and Natalie Portman?
That'd be funny.
Eddie Izzard shows up in this film.
Yeah, and then he does another meta joke.
Yes. This movie's having a lot of fun. Yeah. We get to watch Italian Happy Days. I didn't think that would still be big in the 2000s.
How old do you think Steven Soderbergh is?
58.
Wow.
Am I close?
You are. That is his age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pew!
Yeah, I was like, wow.
And then I guess the one last annoying thing about the script is that conveniently Catherine Zeta-Jones's father happens to also be the greatest thief of all time and the key to helping Danny and the gang defeat Frenchman, the person he used to train. Like, it all felt like it just slipped in and they just randomly found him, like near a train station or whatever. It feels a little too easy.
I just stumbled across some information that might make a little more sense for Julia.
Okay.
The script was reworked when Julia Roberts learned she was pregnant with twins.
Oh, so they just wanted her in there less.
Yeah, 12 is the new 11.
And then they have to have her pretend to be pregnant.
Yep, that was weird. Because I thought she was pregnant. Yeah, it's weird that she's not in the movie, and I'm like, I thought I remembered her. Yeah, and then like she pulls the little fake stomach out. I'm like, okay, well, it would have made sense.
Yeah, we don't know anymore. You were framing a lot of angles like she was pregnant, and this one like she's not.
Like when she's at the house just answering the phone, and she's behind like the counter. I'm like,
yeah.
Usually this is like how you frame.
That's a classic sitcom where you have like a big grocery bag in front of them. That was a Will and Grace move for a while there.
That's fun.
So you just write it into the storyline, like in Frasier.
Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
No.
When Daphne's pregnant in real life, it's too early. It's too early into her and Niles' relationship to have her be actual pregnant. So you know what they do? They have her like gain an eating disorder from her relationship with
Jesus
Niles.
Christ.
Yeah. And then like they have to do like a whole episode where Frasier helps Niles like reevaluate the fantasy of Daphne that he had in all these years and like how he has to deal with her now that she's a real person in his life that he cares for. It's a really smart and cool episode. And like, we go back and watch clips from old episodes and like they walk through them. That show's good, everybody. I don't know if I've said this before.
You know that's a smart show.
Frasier's a smart, well-written, funny show. That's all I'm saying.
You know about those like, well, how many Emmys did it win?
5 for Best Picture.
Fucking hell. Best Picture.
I'm sorry, Best Sitcom. Was nominated, I believe, every other year.
You would have nominated Frasier for Best Picture, though.
The cast was basically nominated every year. David Hyde Pierce won once. Frasier won once.
That's it?
John Mahoney won one.
I thought they would have won more.
David Hyde Pierce might have won twice. Frasier missed one year of being nominated, and that was the year he was in rehab.
I love how you keep calling him Frasier.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer.
Did you watch his Christmas Netflix movie?
What?
Oh,
What? Is this new?
Yeah, it's brand new.
I've never heard of this.
Okay, all right.
What is it? I've got to watch this now.
I could have sworn I sent you the poster for this stupid movie. It looks
Maybe I
terrible.
thought it was a joke then.
It's Father Christmas is back. He plays James Christmas.
He's the father of Christmas, or like what?
Yeah,
or like his last name just happens to be Christmas.
I don't know. Well, John Cleese is in this.
Listen, I'm just gonna go on the record right now and state I can only imagine this movie being terrible.
It was shot in the United Kingdom.
There's not a world where I watch this movie and I go, that was a good use of my time.
Are you going to watch it?
I'm going to watch it anyway because Kelsey Grammer's in there.
It's 105 minutes.
And I'm going to be unnecessarily kind to it because Kelsey Grammer's in there.
All right, let me give you the plot. 4 sisters, Caroline, Joanna, Paulina, and Vicky, reunite for the Christmas holiday in a Yorkshire mansion. However, their estranged father, James Christmas, joins in for the first time since he left the family behind decades prior. The group attempts to get through the holiday despite comedic misunderstandings, while also uncovering the long-buried secret that tore their family apart so many years ago.
You know, I was like, there might be a way to do this movie right. There could be an interesting character way to do this movie right until you got to comedic understandings, and I go, this movie has no idea what it wants to be.
That sounds terrible.
This movie's going to be a huge mess.
Let me tell you something. I tried watching one of these Christmas Netflix movies called Single All the Way.
Oh, good Lord.
Why
would you pick that one, Joe?
It just looks so cheesy. Like, it looked like the Hallmark cheesiness.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
I put it on, and about 15 minutes in, I'm like, the lead character's really annoying. And I'm like, I wish he was just, like, single all the way, but like his mom keeps like setting him up with dates or whatever. Yeah. And then I fell asleep, and then Tanya watched the whole thing, and she's like, that movie sucked. And I'm like, well, you know.
Should have fallen asleep like me, Tanya. It would have worked out much better for you. Father Christmas, I'm expecting nothing.
Yeah, you gotta look up Father Christmas is back. Don't forget, he's back.
I just want to go see Kelsey Grammer do his thing, and then I'll go about my day after that. I will leave my 1.5-star review on Letterboxd and be like, extra star for Kelsey Grammer, and like, there I go.
So it was a 0.5 star originally?
Yeah, that's what it will probably be. It might be 2 stars. It might not be that bad.
Oh, it looks bad.
Might be worth a star without the KG in there. All right, any last looks on Julia or the Oceans movie or Steven Soderbergh?
Yes, so Soderbergh. Good director.
Apparently, pretty good.
Him. I think he's pretty okay.
Who would have thought?
He's what was Roger's review? I sort of kind of liked it.
Yeah. Sort of kind of liked it. 3 stars. Wow, 3?
3 out of 4.
75% is sort of kind of like it. What is 2? Oh. Jesus. Just sort of liked it.
Yeah, what are your last looks?
Why does Julia take this movie? One, she's in a sequel, so like, I don't know, she can get a little extra money. Maybe she's not doing much in it, but the pregnancy thing makes a lot of sense. Like, you're not getting that much work anyway now. Yeah. So if you can make, a cool $1 million or $2 million for doing a couple scenes, you get a little trip to Italy there maybe near the end to hang out with Bruce for a bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, you just have some fun. You seem to have good chemistry with Clooney. Yeah. Seem to work out pretty well. Especially there at the end when we have to listen to the big monologue, the big villain monologue. Here's how I did my crafty plan.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever see them again together.
So, like, that was nice. Obviously, you can do whatever you want at this point, Julia. You seem unstoppable at the box office, so good for you. And this one, it seems like a no-brainer. It's going to be very successful. Well, thanks, Joe, for stopping by.
Oh, thank you.
Happy to get this one in.
Hell yeah.
Hope you'll enjoy the holidays. Don't know if we'll get to record another one before
really?
Christmas.
Okay.
But we'll see if we can squeak one out early next week. We'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer, the audio maven that we are craving. I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com, and now all of our audio-related materials at our sister YouTube station, Quixotic Harmonics. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
Firefly, show me the sky. Yesterday I saw you cry. Beaming down my misery, a traveler's life not meant for me.
So as I was saying, Prime Video sent out a tweet that said, Hotel Transylvania, Transformania, arrives January 14th. Why does this even exist?
And this is the fourth one?
Yes, without Sandler.
Why does it exist? Because altogether, the three movies have made over $1 billion.
Yeah, but can I tell you something? They ain't gonna make no money on fucking Prime. That's not how that works.
So this never came out to theaters?
No, it's going directly to Prime. What a waste. What a fucking dumb ass move on Prime Video.
Prime might have spent a lot of money.
They did! They spent like $100 million! What a fucking bunch of idiots! Wouldn't it be so nice to just have all that spending cash to buy fucking Hotel Transylvania 4? 4? It's not even the first one?
Transformania. This time the monsters become the people.
Terrible.
Well, I look forward to your children watching it, and then you go, how did you like it? And they go, it was fine. And then they never talk about it again.
It'll just disappear into the Prime Video.
If it never existed.
Yeah.
So is it free with Prime?
Yep.
Oh, man. I wish Adam Sandler was in this so we'd have a free movie to watch.
I know.
I'm not going to watch it now, though.
It kills the fucking streak that he was on where he hadn't missed a fucking year since 1995?
I know. He was very close to missing it last year, but Hubie Halloween came out right at the end.
Oh, so beautiful, too.
Saved us all. COVID's been rough on all of us, Joe.
He's shot 2 movies during COVID. Where are they? That's my question. He shot a movie with fucking 91-year-old Robert Duvall.
Like in that conspiracy theory movie. It's the Julia Roberts crossover.
Yes. What are we looking at? Ocean's 12.
Ocean's 12.
What a cast, right?
I mean, it's mostly the same cast.
They've added quite a few people.
But, you know, they didn't add The Rock.
Thank fucking God. He would still be in wrestling at this point. He would have just had made The Mummy Returns. No, sorry. No, I'm sorry. He would have made Walking Tall. That was on Ocean's 11 time.
He walked pretty tall in that Walking Tall movie.
Although the running length of that is short.
For 70 minutes, he walked pretty tall. And then for 20 more minutes, we got to read who helped him do that.
I was surprised it didn't all say Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon. It's not going to be required by us, but I think I still will check out Ocean's 13 because that is the one I still have not watched.
So why is she not in it?
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Because she's like, why is my part always so shitty in this movie?
It wasn't shitty. It was funny. She was the butt of the joke.
We'll get to that soon.
Hell yeah. Peter Andrews did the cinematography. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
Steven Soderbergh did the cinematography.
Wow, he's a wild man. I don't know how they do that. It just sounds so tiring.
I know. So he shot, I think, 4 movies in COVID.
He's a busy dude.
His turnaround time for these fucking movies is just incredible. He shot a Western like 3 months ago with like A-list cast. Like
Criterion can release the Soderbergh COVID collection.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? They haven't been that bad either. I liked most of them.
No, even his low budget stuff can be pretty interesting.
Yeah, like so during COVID he shot Let Them All Talk, I believe was already done, or maybe it was almost finished.
I think it was done.
Yeah. That makes sense. And then No Sudden Move was definitely shot in COVID. Have you seen that one yet?
No, I've not.
It's pretty good. It's fine. Definitely good entertainment. I really wish he was working on this budget again sometimes. Just like mixing them up, like how he was doing. Like he would do like a really tiny budget and then a big budget. And this is a big budget.
he retired, quote unquote, from
Yeah.
filmmaking because he was tired of all the strings that came with the big budgets.
Yeah, I know. He's doing fine right now. I like what he's doing.
I'm sure he's got no complaints.
Yeah, of course. Fucking streaming services just give him tons of money and he just goes and makes his own thing with like no notes. All right, let's dive into this.
Let's just go in.